Well, hi everyone, and welcome to our webinar called Meetings We Love, 3 types of meetings that foster collaboration. So let me start with a quick story. A few months ago, I was working with a team that hit a wall. They were talented, motivated, they really cared about their work, but they were stuck in what I call meeting chaos. Every week was packed with endless updates, last-minute scrambles, or even some vague brainstorming sessions that never really turned into action. So one day, after yet another frustrating meeting, someone just blurted out, guys, I'm starting to think the only collaboration we do is complaining after meetings. And that moment was a spark, actually. It made the team stop and rethink. What if meetings didn't drain collaboration but fueled it? What if instead of more meetings, we had the right kinds of meetings? The ones people actually look forward to because they spark ideas, they clarify priorities, and deepen trust among us. So that's what today is about. We'll look at 3 types of meetings that can transform your team's dynamics, not by adding more meetings to your calendar, but by making the time you spend together truly count. So why this webinar? Well, reason number one, we love meetings that foster collaboration because they lead to clear decisions and actions. We love meetings because it's not just talk. Those kind of meetings, impactful meetings, well-structured meeting, they move things forward with clear decisions and next steps. It brings result. We know what to do after. It's clear on decisions and next steps. We love meetings that foster collaboration because they generate energy and mobilize people. We love these meetings because they spark energy, they motivate people, they get everyone pulling in the same direction. We love meetings that foster collaboration because they create a respectful environment where everyone finds their place. And we love these meetings because they create a safe space where every voice matters and everyone feels they belong. And finally, we love meetings that foster collaboration because they are based on a clear structure and proper preparation. And we love these meetings because good prep and clear structure make every minute count. So let's look at today's program. Just a few definitions, a few key principles, and we will look at 3 types of meetings today: the tactical, the strategic, and the planning session. And we'll end with a few traps, risks, tips, and impacts, and a few words on the next training. So if this is not your first webinar, you've probably seen this diagram before. It's a management and leadership expectations. The idea today is to not go over all of that diagram, but just a few words on meetings and leadership expectations. So when I step into a meeting as a leader manager, I like to remind myself of a few things. My employees don't just expect me to run through an agenda. They probably expect me to lead. They expect clarity. So clear decisions, clear actions, clear priorities. My employees probably expect energy out of me. They want to leave the meeting feeling mobilized, not drained, not discouraged, but pumped. They probably expect respect. They want to know their voices matter and that the space in which we share ideas and opinion is fair and inclusive. And they probably expect structure as well, so it's not perceived as a waste of time. They want to feel that their time is valued, that we're prepared, and that every minute has a purpose. So meetings aren't just about managing time. They're about meeting these expectations every time we gather. So Employees expect that from us as leaders, managers. Now, a few definitions before we dig deep into our subject today. So what is an effective meeting system that fosters collaboration? So I'm just going to read that definition and comment it quickly after. So it's an organization's ability to establish and harmonize a system of useful and engaging meetings across the organization. Ultimately, highly effective and engaging meetings contribute to the success of every employee, every team, and the organization as a whole. Ideally, all meetings people attend are essential and something they look forward to contributing. So if we want collaboration to truly flourish, it's not about having more meetings. It's about having the right meetings, run the right way across the whole organization. So a department isn't doing or having some specific meetings, and another department is having different meetings, but it's the same across the whole organization. So imagine a workplace where every meeting feels essential, purposeful, energizing. That's the system we're aiming for, and that's what we're going to explore today together. So just a few key principles here. So number one, a meeting doesn't belong to the leader, but it belongs to the organization, the team, the department, or project. So remember, a meeting isn't the leader's personal stage. It belongs to the whole team or project, and everyone has a stake in its success. So we can conclude from this first principle that a meeting is not just a newsroom. People are actually engaged. And it also means that if it doesn't belong to the leader, but it belongs to the organization or the department or the project, there's a sense of harmonized meeting. So the way we do our tactical in this department should be the way that the other department does its tactical. So there's an harmonization across the board. Second key principle, it's the facilitator's responsibility to make the meeting engaging, not the participants if interest wanes. So if a meeting drags or loses energy, that's on me, the facilitator. It's my job to keep it engaging, not my employees or the participants' jobs to entertain themselves. I got to take for granted, even before the meeting starts, that people will easily be distracted by their list of things to do. So I have a responsibility to make it engaging, not the other way around. Third key principle on this slide is saying people don't like meetings is a myth. What they don't like, so what they dislike, is useless or ineffective ones. So let's bust the myth. People don't hate meetings. They hate bad meetings. When meetings are meaningful and well run and purposeful, people actually don't want to miss them. They actually want to be there. A few more key principles. A good meeting contributes to everyone's success. So a well-run meeting lifts everyone up. It's a moment that helps each person, the whole team move towards success. So that is because it's purposeful, and everyone that needs to attend actually are attending the meeting. Which brings me to the following key principle. A meeting isn't a spectator sport. It should involve everyone that has been invited. A meeting isn't something you watch from the sidelines. You don't invite someone just in case they need to hear something at the meeting. So it's built to involve and activate everyone in the room. Everyone in the meeting should know exactly why they've been invited and what's their part or responsibility or contribution to the meeting they're attending. The other principle on this slide is a meeting within a meeting disengages participants. And I think we can all identify to that. So staying on topic encourages engagement. Nothing drains energy faster than a side conversation or tangent. Staying focused keeps everyone engaged and connected, because as soon as someone is having a side conversation with someone else or the facilitator, other people are just rolling their thumbs and waiting for the meeting to go on. Last but not least, a few more key principles. So a meeting doesn't replace clear and effective communication. There's the book out there. It's very popular. You might have read it before. It's called I Survived a Meeting That Could Have Been an Email. And I think we can also identify to that. A meeting is not a shortcut for communication. If it could be handled clearly in an email, then it shouldn't be in a meeting. The next key principle is a meeting without clear goals or purpose often becomes a waste of time, held just for the sake of meeting. So when a meeting has no clear purpose, it quickly turns into a time waster. We should meet because there's value, not just because out of habit. So sometimes we have recurring meetings in our agendas. Well, if we don't need to meet, we don't need to meet. Or when we do meet, we know exactly what is expected of us. We know how to prepare, and we know exactly by the end of the meeting what has to be accomplished. So that those are clear goals and clear purposes. And finally, an effective meeting system makes everyone accountable for their priorities and time management. So clear meeting goals aren't just about the meeting. They raise the bar for how I prepare for the meeting, how I manage my time prior to the meeting, and how I show up for the meeting. So clear meeting goals helps me manage my time and my priorities, because I need to be prepared for the meeting and I need to contribute to the success of the meeting. So just those are just a few key principles. They do apply to the three types of meetings that we are going to look at today, but they apply to all kinds of meetings. So next, I just want to go over quickly of a model of a meeting structure. It's our own here at Discadis, but let me show you what I mean by having meetings with clear goals. So what we've, let me see if I can open this. Yes, I can. I'm just gonna enlarge this so you can see what we mean by a meeting structure. Whoops. It has disappeared. I apologize for this. There we go. All right. So here at Discadis, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 types of meeting. So if you look at the top, we have all these meetings here. Now there's one that we could debate, is this really a meeting or not? So focus time. We've added this one in our meeting structure because it shows up in our agenda. So we have focus time, we have check-ins, we have tactical meetings, we have planning sessions, we have working sessions, we have project updates, we have post-mortem, we have a strategic or monthly meeting, and we have a team retreat. Actually, there's one just next week. So for each meeting, and I'm not going to go over the details of this table here, but for each one, we've identified what it is. What is this meeting? Who should attend? Why is this meeting important? Why is it part of our effective meeting structure? What's the typical agenda? So in other words, what do we talk about or what do we discuss during this meeting? When should this meeting occur? So, for example, focus time, it's as needed, but a daily check-in, it's daily. A tactical meeting, it's weekly, and so on. How long does it last? And any additional comments that we needed to share with our team members. So when we looked at one of the key principles and we talked about a meeting doesn't belong to a leader, it belongs to an organization. This is what we mean. So in our department, in my department, a check-in is done the same as in another department. It's not my check-in as a leader manager, but it's Discatus check-in. So this is how we do it here at Discatus. And every department needs to do it the same way. So going back to the presentation, and by the way, if you are interested in seeing that meeting structure, we can make it available for you. So as I've mentioned before, we will be looking at 3 types of meetings today. So now that we've talked through the key types of meetings, here's the big takeaway. Each of these meetings serves a distinct purpose. And when we use the right meeting at the right time, we create focus, we create accountability, and real progress in our projects. So as I've mentioned before, it's not about adding more meetings. It's about making sure that every meeting we hold truly matters and sets up for success together. So here is the tactical meeting. For each type of meeting, I'm going to be sharing either a template or a model of it. So here's the tactical. And what you're seeing on the screen is a copy and paste of what you saw in the meeting structure. So a tactical meeting, what is it? It's a meeting to review results and to resolve issues. So in other words, we meet, we look at our dashboard results, and if there are any issues that we need to tackle as a team, everyone involved around the table, this is where we do it. Who attends? Members of the same team. So if you guys have a large team, you might want to decide who is at which tactical. Our team here is not that big, so every team members attend. Why is it important? Well, each week we maintain focus on collective results. We look at our priorities, the results that are targeted, and we're always looking at where we stand regarding the results we want to achieve. And it's to ensure project success. So if a team member is having any issues in one of his project and a solution could be discussed with the whole team, well, we ensure project success. When? Weekly. Ours is every Monday morning, and everyone has to be there. Duration? It depends anywhere between 45 and 90 minutes. Typical agenda. So I think I've mentioned this a bit. So we always start by looking at our dashboards of results. Then what we do is a really quick roundtable on current priorities. So each of us needs to say, well, this week my 3 big rocks are A, B, C, whatever, A, B, C. And then after mentioning my 3 big rocks, I let the facilitator know, does any of those rocks need to be discussed with the whole team? And 95% of the time, it's no. But rock B, I might be saying, well, I'll need to tackle Hallie on this one because I'm stuck and I'm probably going to need her help. Or my colleague Julie might say, well, I need to meet with her and with him, and we'll tackle this together as a small team. But what really is what the topics that are that are being retenus for this type of meeting are topics where everyone can actually participate and contribute. So quick roundtable on current priorities. We mentioned if it needs to be tackled as a team or if separate, smaller discussions need to happen. Then we develop the agenda. So let's say 2 or 3 topics were mentioned that needed to be discussed as a team. Then we would say, okay, so this topic is priority, it's number 1, then this topic is number 2, and this one is number 3. And then we talk about solutions, and we have ad hoc meetings. So I'm on the notes here. So this is a recurring process. It happens every Monday. We don't set up an agenda. There's no ordre du jour except the typical agenda that you see here. The only items that vary weekly are the ones that are mentioned by colleagues as being a necessity to discuss as a whole team. And another note for this type of meeting to be successful is that the dashboard of results should be filled out in advance. So we're not there yet, but most of our results are automated through Smartsheet or Google Sheet. And then this is what we look at. A few results are input manually, but in the best of worlds, the dashboard would be filled out in advance. I'm going to show you a quick example of my agenda, if you just want to be patient with me for a second. So yesterday, as you can see, we were having a check-in and rencontre tactique in French is our tactical meeting. So we always start with our check-in and then we go on to the tactical. So survol des résultats is looking at the dashboard. Survol des projets en cours. Which projects are we working on right now regarding clients? Which one are we working on that are internal for us? And yeah, so this is it. And after we've done the tour de table, we decide which one needs to be tackled as a team. All right, tactical meeting. Next, we'll be looking at the strategic meeting and the executive summary. So strategic meeting and executive summary, what is it? It's a really good opportunity to debate on ideas on a predefined topic. So that is the opposite of having a serious conversation just impulsively at my desk or in the hallway and making big decisions without having time to be prepared. So a strategic meeting means the topic was predefined and team members were prepared. So who usually participate in a strategic meeting? Management and leadership team members. And why is this meeting so important? This meeting is really important because it's where we make better decisions, because we've had time to prepare, to think about it, to do some research, to look at data, to look at I'll show you an example of the executive summary that we use, but this is why this one is really important. So the typical process for this one is whoever wants to bring out or to propose a subject or needs to make an important decision, that person will draft an executive summary. We'll share it with its team members. They have to read and prepare. Then during the meeting, we have some discussions on the ideas that are proposed in the summary, and we make the decisions we need to make. So when is it? Monthly or as needed? So my experience here, I'm going to share my experience. Don't wait until you need to have one, because it's often hard to bring everybody at a meeting if people in your department or organization are really busy. So what we like to do here, but we're not 100% there, but what we like to do is to have them scheduled monthly and hold them if necessary. If there's nothing strategic to discuss, then everybody just gain an hour or two. So duration, yeah, between 90 and 120 minutes, so almost 2 hours. So here's the template of the executive summary I was just talking about. So let's say I want to talk about changing an app that we use for engaging people during our trainings. It's not a big subject, but I'm just going out for an example. I would write the title, the subject, what's the name of the project or the initiative I want to take. So I'll be really, really clear and brief. This is what I want to talk about. This is the subject that I'm bringing. Context and history. So here's why. This is where I would explain what led to the discussion for changing the app, so that people can fully understand and prepare and see where is this coming from, basically. Then objectives and desired results. So what do I ultimately want to change or want to improve introducing this new app? So expected results. And then internal and external impacts. So let's say we go ahead with what I'm proposing. What are the strengths? What would be the challenges? Are there any opportunities that could lead to something? And are there any threats? So it's like a bit of a SWOT analysis that I'm doing here. Then if we were to go ahead with this new app, what would be the essential milestones and what would it look like on the timeline? So this is what I would write in there. And sectors that would be involved or affected. So the app that I'm thinking about, would it affect existing customers, future customers, members, marketing department, finances, the board of directors, HR, staff members, general management? And you could add your own list there, but it's just a way of thinking, okay, so maybe this app is good for a certain part of the organization, but how does it affect the whole organization? What is the decision to make? So I would write it in a statement. And after we've discussed, then there's a recommendation. So let's say that we go ahead with it. Then what is the action plan? So who should do what by when? And I would add in the what action needs to be done by who and by when, include in there who says what to who, how, and when. Some decisions you need to plan ahead, some communications in cascade. And yeah, so there's an example of how you might have your own template, but the idea that I want to stress here is that when we have some important decisions to make, it's really important to prepare people that will be involved in making that decision. All right, let's go to the third one today, planning sessions and project management tools. So what is a planning session? Well, it's a time that we actually take to plan steps and resources. If you've not read the book, Eat My Frog or Eat That Frog, I think this is where the importance of planning sessions comes from. So in the book, it says that a minute of planning will contribute to 10 minutes in productivity. So imagine a planning session that is 10, 15, even 30 minutes, how many minutes or hours you will gain in productivity and therefore success. So it's really, really important to have planning sessions within our team. And who should invite team members to a planning session? Project leads. Anyone who's in charge or who is leading a mandate, a project, an initiative, or something new. Why is it important? Well, I think I've just mentioned it because of productivity, but it really ensures clarity on expectations. When we have a planning session, people know exactly what is expected out of them and out of the project. We are clear about deliverables. What is the client expecting from us? Timelines, deadlines, tasks, who does what by when, and responsibilities. So, typical process of a planning session, we document the activities or the deliverables, we allocate resources, we identify deadlines, timelines, and next step. So a planning session usually happens at the beginning. It's the first meeting of a new project. Then following meetings are working sessions and not necessarily planning session. So planning session is really, here's what we're going to do with this project. So when? Well, before launching, avant mettre en œuvre, before launching a new project. And depending on the scope of the project, it's usually a good 30 minutes just to be clear on expectations, roles, responsibilities, timelines, and so on. So we do have an example at Discatus now. We're a training organization, we're a training business, so our planning tool is probably very different from someone who's in finance or is another type of work environment. But here is ours. So, and I apologize, it is in French. We do work in French internally here, but this is every time we plan something with a new client, a new training, a new, a new training, a new facilitation. We complete this form here with the client, and that allows us to not miss any important details, so that the session is delivered in a white glove experience for the client. We can also share that with you if you want. So this is an example of a tool that we use for each new mandate that we have with a client. Now we also have a management tool. A management tool, again, it is in French, but it's just to give you an idea. So we use Google Sheets, as you can probably recognize from the icon. So we have in a column, it's our code for different mandates, client's name, what type of, in which sector are we talking, a bit of details about the project, delivery date, the length, who's doing the training, was the initial project template created, who's the contact person, was there a planning session internally, was there a planning session with the client, what's the prep time, where are we at, post meeting, and then every milestones that need to happen is there. So different ideas on how to project. We use Google Sheets. It's quite easy to use. It's user friendly. We also use a Smartsheet for more complex projects, but for our trainings, Google Sheet is usually the one we go to. So when we look at all three types of meeting together, the tactical, the strategic, the planning session, we see how each play a distinct but essential role. Tactical meetings, they keep us aligned week to week. It helps us solve problems, and it helps us keep focused on collective results. Strategic meetings, they do help the leadership or the management team make smarter, I'm going to say smarter decisions, informed decisions that shape the direction that we want to take. And planning sessions turn our big ideas into concrete steps so that the whole team knows how we'll succeed. When we run each of these meetings with purpose and clarity, we don't just fill calendars. We build momentum, we build alignment and success across the organization. So here's a pitfall. I think I have two today. So the first one is participation doesn't necessarily mean quality. So we often confuse participation with clarity. So the trap is confusing active participation with added value. Risk long but unproductive discussions. So the tip here, invite the right people at the right time. You'll have a better pacing, better clarity, and genuine conclusion. So just because people are talking in a meeting, it doesn't mean we're adding value. In fact, sometimes bringing too many voices at the wrong time can drag us into long, unproductive discussions. So really be intentional. Invite the right people at the right time, and the payoff is really worth it. You'll have better conversations, true inclusions, where everybody will feel that they have contributed. Pitfall number 2, efficiency doesn't equal speed. So pitfall 2 reminds us that being efficient isn't about time. We can fall into the trap of thinking that a short meeting is a really good meeting. But you know what? And I think you know this too. When we rush, we risk skipping over important issues or dodging real decisions. So the tip is to take the necessary time to work through what matters. Because if you don't take it now, you'll find yourself revisiting that subject or that decision time after time, and it'll be an endless discussion. So take the necessary time for real issues, the impact, lasting alignment, and solid decision. You'll leave with solid decisions and true alignment that will last way beyond the meeting room. So there it is, 3 types of meetings today, a few ideas on tools and templates that you can use. Our next free training or webinar will take place in 2 weeks' time. It's called 4 sentences or 4 phrases that kill team spirit. So the impact of our words in the workplace. So if you want to join, it's Tuesday, June 17, and this time it's at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So next steps, a lot of people do register to our webinars because they want to listen to the recordings on their own time. So all webinars are now shared in our newsletter. So subscribe to the newsletter to receive the recordings and much, much more. If you do want to talk about your challenges, it could be about meetings, it could be about anything else, but if you guys want to talk about challenges, ideas, book a meeting with our experts. It's a free 30 minutes, so let's connect, and thank you again for being here. See you next time.